What's up? Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a betting episode of the On the Block podcast. Week 15 in the NFL, December 20th, 2020. And what I want to do today, I'm going to go through all the games. I'm going to make picks on all of them. I'm going to get to some of my best bets. And then I do a little bit of college basketball too, since it's the giving season. So let's start off with San Fran going to Dallas. San Fran, both teams actually terrible seasons for, what the expectations were for both. San Fran is a 3-point favorite. Dallas has looked terrible pretty much all season, especially against bad teams. Andy Dalton hasn't really looked good at all, especially against teams that can get pressure on the quarterback. San Fran's going to bring that today, coming off a few disappointing losses. I like San Fran. They're clearly the better team here, and I'm going to take them at 3. So Russell Wilson, MVP stock fading a bit, but the team still looking solid, fighting for that division crown with the LA Rams, going to visit Chase Young and the Washington football team. Now, I just thought about this, and I really hope that this doesn't happen. Seattle's offensive line, terrible. Chase Young, obviously one of the best pass rushers in the game. A lot of injuries, getting back to what I was just thinking of. A lot of quarterback gruesome injuries have gone down at this field, at FedEx Field. All that being said, I still do like Seattle minus the 7. I know it's going to be an ugly game, and it could be close because games in Washington are usually ugly. But I'm going to take Seattle there minus the 7. So that's the second game on the list. Next one, division battle, both teams same record, Chicago and Minnesota. So this game opened up, I believe it was like 6 or something like that for the Vikings. It's come down to 3. Both teams at 6 and 7. Doesn't matter who's starting for Chicago, whether it's Trubisky or Foles, both terrible. Kirk Cousins obviously gets the stats. Better team, better running back. I don't know about better defense. Chicago definitely has a better defense there. But once again, I take the favorite. I go with Minnesota, who hasn't covered recently. I think that trend's going to change. I'll take Minnesota minus the 3. Interesting divisional matchup here with New England traveling to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins have burned me so many times this season. So many times. I don't know why I'm laughing because I shouldn't be. I should be crying. But line opened up at 3 points for Miami. We know that New England usually doesn't travel well to Miami against the Dolphins. They've had some bad, tough losses, especially that lateral one that went down at the end of the game. I believe it was last year, if not the year before. I love New England. This is my best bet of the week. Now, like I said, it started off at a 3-point spread. It's gone down to 2 or 1.5, depending on where you're getting it from. I love New England. Take them here. My game of the week, my lock. I'm going to post this one. Igor, don't come back at me. These are your guys anyway, so they better come through today if New England wants to stay alive in this playoff race. Cam Newton's terrible. We know that. But I just think that the defense, Belichick, best coach in the league, went against a rookie quarterback in Tua, who started off the season really good, hasn't been great as of late. Give me New England. Jacksonville's trying to get the number 1 pick, trying to get Trevor Lawrence. They've been very, very competitive in almost all their games this season, minus the one against Tennessee last week. But I don't want to get off topic here. Baltimore also, fighting for their playoff lives here. 13-point favorite, 13.5, depending on where you're getting it. Lamar Jackson had a little Paul Pierce incident. He didn't want to man up to it. Lost a bit of respect for him for that. But Baltimore's defense slowly coming around, getting a little bit more healthy. Jacksonville does not want to win any more games, and I just think that they're really going to struggle to score traveling to Baltimore. Baltimore hasn't done too good against the spread. Jacksonville, surprisingly, I don't have it off the top of my head, but for a team that is going to win 1 game this season, they were above 500 against the spread, which is very shocking. I also love Baltimore this week. I'm going to put them in as one of my best bets. So take Baltimore minus the 13. Tampa Bay and Brady going to Atlanta in a divisional matchup. Now, obviously, the Bucs have been up and down all season. They've looked great. They've looked terrible. They've been blown out of some games. Defense was supposed to be really good, and the pass rush, the front 7 has been pretty solid. But for some reason, against some teams, they haven't really shown up. Atlanta has had a disastrous season. Started off really bad, kind of picked it up towards the middle end and present time of the season. I don't know if Matt Ryan probably going to, now that I think about it, going against the Pats quarterback Brady, who that infamous Super Bowl loss. I took Tampa here. I'm not really sure, but if I do have to give a pick, I'm going to take Tampa minus the 6.5 or 7, whatever the line is there. Atlanta usually a better home team, but with no fans here, not really that much of a road game for Tampa. And I think that they kind of have to bounce back. They're going to win the game for sure, and I'm going to take them to cover the 7. Houston, now Deshaun Watson has nobody to throw to. All of their wide receivers either suspended or injured. Going to Indy, 7 points right now is what the line is for Indy. Divisional game. Indy needs to win this game. Houston really has nothing to play for. I kind of think that Houston's going to pull a backdoor cover here. No real logic as sports betting goes. You flip a coin with a spread, and that's really what you're going to get. But I just think because, Houston probably should have beaten Indy a few weeks ago in that game that was in Houston. And I just think that these two teams obviously don't like each other playing the same division, the AFC South. I think that Houston they could pull off the upset here. If they do, that would be pretty crazy. But I'm going to take them to cover the spread, 7.5, 8. And I'm going to take them there. Now, my beloved Titans, just going to check the update on the line because I know it keeps changing. So it was 10, it's gone down to 10.5. Stafford's out. Tennessee 9-4, first place AFC South. Lions, they've been any game that's been on TV, which have been few and far between. Mine's the Thanksgiving one. They've looked atrocious, but for some reason on the road, I don't know why this team's been a good road team over the past few years. And by good, I take that with a grain of salt because they're a terrible team. But Tennessee doesn't cover too much. Lions are 5-8. I believe their spread record is also 5-8. Tennessee's really played terrible against bad competition. Minus last week against Jacksonville, which, Dan Fallon, shout out to you. You owe me a nice little gift after they covered that spread. Tennessee here's 9.5. Derrick Henry, 1,532 yards, trying to get to 2,000. That's going to be a tough feat. Now, the Lions defense is really bad. If he can pull off, 180 yards here today, which is not inconceivable considering best running back in the league by a country mile, I think. A.J. Brown probably going to have another big game as well. Detroit just doesn't have many options. Kenny Galladay's out again. They haven't had a running game since Barry Sanders. This is a game I think where Tennessee can kind of build some more momentum. I think as bad as their defense is, I think that, with no running game with Detroit, going to force them to throw the ball. Tennessee's secondary is one of their few bright spots. They have 0 pass rush. I think Tennessee's going to cover this game. It might get ugly. And like I said, having lost to Cincinnati, lost to some terrible teams, got embarrassed. But I think they're going to cover this one, and I think that they're actually going to blow up the Lions. Let's go. Okay, that does it for the 1 o'clock games. Philly, Arizona. Shout out to Mike Woods. The Eagles have been one of the worst teams in the NFL, even though their record might not suggest it. Defense, I guess, would have to be the only somewhat bright spot, and they haven't even been good, but their offense has just been so bad. Carson Wentz not playing again today. Jalen Hurts is going to start. He didn't look great last week, but I think, or the past few weeks, whatever he's played, but I think the biggest thing that's helped Philly is that when Carson Wentz would either, get strip sacked, throw an interception, turn the ball over as he does, Jalen Hurts has either thrown the ball away, kept the ball, not turned the ball over, and that right there is going to save them at least 7 points every game. Arizona is a team that's really been trending downwards. They haven't been great at all. Fitzgerald came back last week. That definitely helped them. Great wide receivers, although they need to spread the ball a little bit more. Obviously, Murray's a little bit hurt. Shoulder's still a little bit hurt. Now, against Philly's defense, this is really the only shot they have. I feel like if they're going to cover, they're going to need to get some kind of defensive touchdown or win the turnover battle here. But Arizona hasn't done too well covering the spread recently. I'm going to look for that trend to kind of turn around today. I'm going to take them minus the 6, and I really like that as well. So I'll throw that into my best bets. Jets and the Rams. This one, Jets are another team that's kind of screwed me over the course of the season, whether, the rare times I've, taken them or not gone against them. I haven't seemed to, put the nail on the head with this team. Rams 17-point favorites here today. Now, I don't know if the Jets will even score 10 points. They might not even get to 7. But this line's kind of scaring me because whenever the lines get this big, it's very, very rare that the team ends up covering. I'm just really wondering where points are going to come from for the Jets. Because I haven't looked at the stats, but they probably have the worst offense in football. Doesn't matter if Darnold's playing or Flacco. Running game non-existent, not many weapons on offense. I think that this is going to be maybe a 20-10 kind of game because I just feel like the Jets defense is going to have to do something. going into their second last game of the season. At first, I like the Rams, but looking at everything right now, I'm gonna have to go Jets, just because it's such a big number, and I feel like they can steal some points with special teams or defense that might be enough to cover that massive number. So I'll take the Jets in that one plus the 17. Kansas City, the Chiefs -3 going into New Orleans. Now Drew Brees is coming back. Taysom Hill is obviously not a starting NFL caliber quarterback in my humble opinion. I thought that maybe they should have went to Winston, but the coach in New Orleans kind of wanted to prove some doubters wrong about that he had Taysom Hill there. It wasn't just a nice shiny toy sitting in the garage. He's done a decent job. Like you're going against Denver, who started a practice squad wide receiver as their starting quarterback a few weeks ago, and they've covered a few times recently. I just think Kansas City, they've only lost one game. There's been some scares with them. I remember that Chargers game earlier in the season. And even that Tampa game didn't manage to cover. I believe the spread was 4. They ended up winning by 3. I think Kansas City makes a statement here. Drew Brees is going to have to adjust. I think Kansas City is going to bring some pressure at Brees, playing with some freshly broken ribs and a punctured lung. I don't like New Orleans rushing. I feel like they're rushing him back in this game. And I think that Kansas City is going to win by at least a score. I know the game's in New Orleans once again. Very few fans, if any. Kansas City, my second favorite pick of the week, -3. Take them and thank me later. Cleveland Browns, surprising Cleveland Browns, might guarantee themselves a winning season for the first time in, I want to say, like 20 years. Traveling to the Giants for the Sunday Nighter. Line's at 6. 6 points for the Browns. Browns at 9-4. Giants at 5-8. In that NFC East, anything's possible. Seems like Colt McCoy is not gonna be starter. Trending towards a Sunday night start. For that reason, I don't like the Giants. Doesn't matter if Danny Dimes is playing anyway. Browns, they really punched the Titans in the mouth last 2 games ago, and this is a team that a lot of people slept on. But when Odell Beckham Jr. went down, I feel like this team got a little bit better. They're spreading the ball around a lot more on offense, not really trying to target him. And that's really helped them out. Chubb has been great on the ground. And the defense looks good. Myles Garrett, after last year, we weren't really sure when he was going to come back after that helmet suspension. But one of the best pass rushers in the game. And I really think that the Giants are going to struggle to put some points on the board here. Giants defense, though, surprisingly very solid. I know that they need to win every game to kind of keep pace in that NFC East. I just don't know if they're going to be able to get that win tonight against the Browns. I'm going to take Cleveland -7. And then last game, Pittsburgh-Cincy. Pittsburgh, after they started off, 11-0, lost 2 games in a row here. Bengals 2-10-1. Another team that, similar to Jacksonville, although they've been terrible on paper, well, not terrible with their record, 2-10-1, they really were doing well against the number. They were above 500. I'll never forget them smashing the Titans. But, the Steelers have not done so well recently, obviously, and also covering the spread for a team of that record. Joe Burrow went down. Ever since he's gone down, this team's struggled to put points on the board. It's not going to get any easier against the Steelers defense today. I like the Steelers in this spot. It's a 14-point line. I know it's a divisional matchup on the road, but I'm going to have to go with this number. I stayed away from the Rams 17. I'm going to take the Pittsburgh by the 14 here on the Monday Nighter. I feel like they need to kind of remind some people how good of a team they are after the Bills loss and the Washington loss. They've had some scheduling problems. I believe it was like 3 games in something like 19 days or 18 days, which really kind of messed them up. An extra day of rest here. I like the Steelers -15. That wraps it up for the NFL. I wanted to get into some college basketball today. Did a 5-gamer. I'll go through the picks that I like. Game of the day that I really like, Minnesota Golden Gophers at home to St. Louis Billikens. The line I have here is St. Louis by 2. Love Minnesota. Take them. And the other game, Colorado, Pac-12 matchup, -10 traveling to Washington. Washington has been absolutely terrible for a long time. Even when they had Fultz, they've had some pretty solid players, a lot of NBA players coming out of the Washington Huskies. They haven't been a good team, I want to say, since like Brandon Roy's been there. It's been a long time. But Colorado, a much better home team over the years. Traveling to Washington. Washington hasn't done too well covering or even playing well recently. I like Washington. So Washington, Minnesota. Those are my two games that I really like. And then a few others that I'm going to throw in as well. Providence going to Seton Hall. Love Providence here. Plus the 4. Texas hasn't been the powerhouse that they've typically been, especially at home. Texas minus 7.5. Oklahoma State, they had a letdown last week against Texas Tech. I'm going to go Oklahoma State here plus a 7.5. And then an earlier game, Illinois is going to Rutgers, 2 ranked teams here. I like Rutgers minus the 1. Enjoy week 15 of NFL, guys. Good luck. And then also with the college basketball picks, I'm going to post a record. I'm going to try and do this often. Hopefully, I get Igor on this one for next week. Have a good holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. And a Happy New Year if I don't see you. Take care.